This is Martin Giles of the Guildford Dragon News, and today I'm with Hannah Dalton, who is an organiser of the Residents Against Surrey Single Unitary, a campaign which is fighting against the proposal to have a single unitary authority for Surrey. Hannah is also a district councillor at Epsom and Ewell, where she represents the Residents Association. Welcome, Hannah. Thank you for talking to the Guildford Dragon.
Hi, Martin.
And just to start off with then, can you tell me, why have you started this campaign and what are you hoping to achieve?
So we've started Residents Against Surrey Single Unitary, or RASSU, because we don't believe that what Surrey is doing is transparent. They are engaging in a process to implement a single unitary council without seeking the opinions of what residents think, on a mandate that doesn't actually exist from central government, and also ahead of the white paper expected later this autumn. And we just believe that it's really important that residents understand what's being implemented or planned to be implemented, and that they have the full picture, and that they can make an informed decision and be part of the conversation.
So you seem to be aligned with the Residents for Guildford and Villages, or R4GV, here in Guildford. What is the relationship there?
So R4GV has a number of independent councillors as well, which I am, and the RASSU campaign is working with independent councillors across all of Surrey. There's over 160 of us, and we all are very, very linked in with our communities and the residents who we've been elected to serve. And what's really happening with RASSU is bringing together all of these people, whether or not they're councillors, to make their views known on what Surrey are planning.
So that's 170 independent councillors, you said, in Surrey?
164, but yes,
okay,
it's enough.
164 out of a total of about 470, so that's nearly a third of borough and district councillors in Surrey at the moment are independents.
Absolutely.
Okay, so are you presuming, or do you know, that they're all behind your campaign?
A significant number, I think, are, but of course everybody's going to have their own views, and that is actually the joy of being an independent. You're not whipped by a national party and being told what you should believe or what your views are, and so actually you're able to think on your own 2 feet, go and get the evidence, and then start to represent your own views. And quite often they will be the views of the locale to you.
Okay, are you hoping for support from some people that are in political parties, especially those in opposition, i.e. the Lib Dems and Labour members?
Certainly we are getting support from some people who are in the political parties, and I think we're probably getting support as well from some of the Conservatives. Quite frankly, this is like turkeys voting for Christmas if you're supporting this and you're a Conservative. If people don't support it and you stand on a mandate of it, you may not get elected. And if you do support it, if you don't support it rather, you may not actually have a career in County Hall. But, you know, if people believe that this is not the right thing, then I hope, regardless of their political persuasions, that they will support RASSU.
Okay, one comment here from the Lib Dem group leader was that she didn't feel she could sign your petition because you weren't putting forward a proposal, the alternative that you wanted.
Yes, and there is a reason for that. At the moment, there is no alternative being put forward by Tim Oliver or the CEO of Surrey. They are putting forward a single unitary. And I think to start getting into a conversation which is, we don't want a single unitary, but we want 2 or 3 unitaries. Well, you've engaged in an argument that you want a unitary, and we don't. But also, you start to fight against an option that isn't actually there. It's shadow boxing. So I think for RASSU, what we want to do is campaign against what is currently the known and leave it to the political leaders, such as the Lib Democrat leader, for them to go and make their case at County Hall.
Okay, but there are advantages to unitary authorities, aren't there? I mean, most people are unclear or ignorant of the difference between the county council and their responsibilities and the borough and district councils and theirs. You know, if you ask a lot of people, if we stop people at random and said, who's responsible for potholes, who's responsible for social housing, they wouldn't really know, would they?
Oh, I think that depends. So around where I live, most people are fairly clear that the poor state of all of the roads across the county are down to Surrey. And those people who have a child with special educational needs know that Surrey is failing in that area. So I think it's a broad brush statement to say everybody. Some people don't, but I think a fair number are touched by where Surrey are failing in their current duties. And I think that's also why they don't want to extend the power to them and give them more. They can't do what they're being asked to do now well. And simply they are looking to get more money from all of the boroughs and districts by abolishing them and do more badly. I don't think that's what people want.
But people also don't like paying tax. So there are savings mentioned by the adoption of the proposal of up to £135 million a year. That's not to be sniffed at. And that could result at the end in either a lower council tax bills or perhaps a smaller increase in council tax bills.
I don't actually feel that that argument ever works. Currently, Surrey receive 76% of people's council tax. So I'm not entirely sure that that will reduce. They already get the vast majority of what is collected. In addition, the only place where I could see them making savings would be through the combination of people, processes and technology. And as anybody who has ever been involved in those kinds of exercises, you actually spend a lot more trying to get that alignment. And if you can imagine all the people that will be made redundant, just at a moment when we're coming out of the pandemic, we hope, there are a number of people on furlough, there are a number of people that don't have jobs or won't have jobs. And Surrey's intentions mean that more people will lose roles. So I'm not really convinced by their financial argument. And to date, Martin, they haven't been able to provide a clear business plan that gives you those figures. And just to add on to that, a couple of weeks ago, PwC did its own report, which thought that there was around £3 billion to be saved when you went into a unitary. And again, the figures there were really unclear because it was based on this theoretical mid-sized council. And from that, they came up with this figure. So I think before anyone believes the figures from Surrey, I think we need to actually really see what the business case is and from where these numbers are derived.
Okay, but regardless of how much the saving might be, it does seem likely that if you combine the councils, there will be a saving. Are you saying that do you deny that, or are you saying it won't be worth it?
I don't necessarily deny it. I just don't really trust Surrey when it comes to the figures. I think my question to people is what price democracy? So for those savings, you will reduce the number of councillors, therefore you will reduce the number of people representing people. In addition, because of the way Surrey is run and the time of their meetings, it will mean that the demographic of representation is also reduced. So I think for me, there is a real question there, which is how much do you want to lose the democratic process for what saving?
Okay, now, regardless of your campaign, if the government approves this proposal, it could go ahead, couldn't it? I mean, they don't need anyone's permission, do they?
Sadly, no, they don't. I think there has been conversation about whether there will be some method to veto this, and I suspect we are going to find out more in the delayed white paper that's now expected next month in October.
Okay, and what would your preference be for the choice? Do you think there should be some kind of referendum in the county, or do you think the boroughs and districts should be able to have their say, and it would require a majority of those? What would you prefer?
So we have a petition at the moment on the Surrey website, and it would require us to have around 46,000 people to sign it for us to be able to ask Surrey for a referendum under their constitution. So I'm hopeful that this will go out and we will have 46,000 signatures. At the moment, we have over 2,000 and it's increasing every day. But to your question, what I would really like to see is Surrey engage in an open and transparent consultation process and to truly listen to what residents are saying. You know, I see that Tim Oliver's saying that this is a mandate from Boris Johnson. Well, the last I looked, it isn't in their manifesto that they stood on back in the elections last December. And also that's really hiding behind Boris Johnson. I think he needs to be open and honest with people and engage with the residents of Surrey to ask them what they really are thinking about this. And what we're hearing at the moment is people aren't very supportive.
Hannah Dalton, thank you for talking to the Guildford Dragon.
Thanks, Martin.